it was a crazy, crazy story. They got a call from a guy who owns a cottage in the woods and rents it on Airbnb. And they got a call, 911 got a call from this guy saying, I have my surveillance cameras outside my house, my Airbnb, and I'm seeing they're bringing in like a body into my Airbnb rental. And
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. It's insane. And the police, the local police went there and realized that there was something bigger that happening, because basically they brought in the body and then left with bags or something that was suspicious to the owner of this Airbnb rental.
And that's wild, guys, because I've owned Airbnbs. And the messed up thing about it is, like on my Airbnbs, I didn't have cameras, right? I didn't have any of that because it violates Airbnb policy, right? And it intrudes on the actual guests. So let's think about it. Most of the places on the Airbnb platforms don't have cameras. This one just happened to have it. Just think about all the other houses that these guys are probably doing this at that the law enforcement agencies are not catching. It blows my mind just the level of planning that goes into these type of operations. Let's keep listening.
And the police was called, and then eventually the FBI was called, or the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, were called. And what they found was that there was this woman who the leader of this cartel cell in Georgia, she was a drug distributor for them, and that the leader believed that she was skimming money from him. And so they had called her into this house and they had tortured her in a bathtub. They had cut off her, I think it was a chainsaw, cut off parts of her body. They had used pliers to cut off her fingers. But they had done a really good job of cleaning it all out. So they couldn't find any evidence that this had happened, but they knew something had happened here. So it was this agent that when they started looking inside, they decided to open the drain for the bathtub. And
just think about the level of cruelty that had to take place there. And just think about the type of human being you gotta be to torture and dismember somebody because you think they're stealing money from you. You do all that just so you can get an answer. Right? This is the type of individuals that we're dealing with. These are the type of individuals that is within the United States running this operation. It just blows my mind. Let's keep listening.
And again, this is like small town America with a cell that's sort of connected to the cartel. So yeah, this is unfortunately happening all across the U.S.
Would you say they have presence in all 50 states?
I would say yes, absolutely. I mean, they, through our reporting, finding out that everywhere. I mean, we spoke to sources that had presence in Alaska or that talked about operations. And
so again, guys, this really, pisses me off because again, I've moved through this world with a mission in silence and chaos. I've worn the uniform, carried the weight, and crossed borders most people only hear about when things go bad. Now, I move through these same streets with a new mission, to find the best damn coffee on earth and tell the stories no one else will. From the highlands of Colombia to the alley roasters of Tehran, from the back streets of Port-au-Prince to the hills of Vietnam, from the dust of Afghanistan to the shadows of somewhere I can't even name yet. This isn't a travel show. It's not a coffee review. It's an operation. My name is Dorleus, ex-Beret, and founder of Dark Arts Coffee. And this is the Field Guide. The place most won't go, the beans most don't know, and the dark truth brewed in every cup. We talk about this topic over and over again, and we've been talking about it for years now about the cartel and their operations within the United States. They have presence within all 50 states. Why? Right? Like, that's the question we should be asking ourselves. Why do they have presence in all 50 states? And it's because within all 50 states, people want drugs, and they're just supplying that drug. They're not out here dismembering people and fucking people up just because, right? They're running a business, they're supplying drugs, people are double crossing them, and they're fucking them up, right? And we got to think about this, guys. The best way to get rid of this operation, the best way to get rid of these type of operations, the best way to get rid of these people within the United States is to fix the drug problem. is to keep American citizens from wanting drugs. If you can't fix that, we're going to be fighting the cartel for years and years to come. And that battle will never be won. Because just when we think we get rid of them, where are the drug addicts? Where are the drug fiends going to get their drug from? They're just going to find another supplier, right? We're not fixing the underlying issue here, which is the American citizens wanting drugs. We're showcasing how the cartel is fucked up and they're doing all this stuff. And we're building a case. We're building a narrative to go hunt these dudes down, not understanding that unless we fix the bottom issue, that someone else is just going to step in and fill that gap. Someone's going to become that supplier. Somebody's going to fill that demand. Until we fix the underlying issue, this is all theatrics, right? This is all a shit show. Let's keep watching.
Yeah, it was wild. I didn't expect it. And I think to me, a couple of other things that were really shocking in that story was, first of all, we interviewed a guy who was American, El Gringo, who goes by the name of El Gringo, obviously not his real nickname, but he's American, born and raised in the U.S., doesn't even speak Spanish, and is one of the biggest distributors for the cartel here in the United States. And for me, that was shocking. And he told me that that is actually quite common.
And that's something else that I've heard a lot of, guys. The decision makers, the people that actually run the cartel, the people that are like the head honchos, they probably never step foot within the United States, right? They don't have to. They're stashed up somewhere, wherever, and they have white dudes from freaking Nebraska, from Georgia, running distribution rings, all right? Whenever they get rolled up, guess who gets rolled up? That dude, that American citizen, all right? And then guess what? They find somebody else, and it just continues. It just keeps going, right? And then here we are spinning our wheels trying to figure out how to stop this. And again, I'll say it, unless you tackle the actual demand, unless you get freaking American citizens, unless you can get college kids to stop snorting freaking coke, nothing's going to get fixed, guys. Nothing's going to happen. All right. And mark my words, 3, 4, 5 years from now, we're going to be having the same freaking conversation.
They use a lot of American citizens to distribute their drugs. So to me, that was surprising. I didn't know that was. I knew that obviously they work with some collaboration from Americans, but I didn't know it was so widespread. And then the other thing was that the corruption angle and the agents from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation spoke to me about this. A bunch of different law enforcement groups I've spoken to have talked about this. But there is so much money that we're talking about, right? It's the drug business alone. It's estimated at over $600 billion a year, billion. So, and the cartel is making, billions of dollars from this illegal trade. And when you're talking about this much money, it's easy, unfortunately, to corrupt people, but, we're talking about Border Patrol, we're talking about small town sheriffs, but we're talking about federal agencies as well. And that was the scariest part.
Guys, I will link this clip in the pinned comment so you guys can go check it out. But guys, it's a story as old as time. Person A wants some drugs. Person B supplies that drugs. Person A wants some drugs. Person B is killed. Guess what? Person C is going to supply that drug, right? Person A wants some drugs. Person C is killed. Person D is going to supply that drug. And everything in between, the individual that's actually going to Mexico, getting it, the distributor, right? The corrupt politicians, the corrupt police officers, the corrupt federal agents. It's always going to happen as long as there's a vehicle to make money, meaning you get person A, whatever they want, they're going to pay whatever money you ask them, right? Unless you take care of person A and their craving and their need for that drug, guess what? They're going to keep wanting it. In the $600 billion industry, guys, $600 billion. You think that freaking type of operation, that type of company is just going to fold? You don't think they have spider webs everywhere, right? Again, guys, I think it's easier for us to target person A and start targeting that demand instead of focusing on the apparatus, on the monster that is that $6 billion company, that $6 billion industry, right? Trying to take that down as opposed to just start targeting individuals and teaching them and telling them how fucked up drug is for them.